With new cars, new drivers and a new format, the opening round of the 2014 V8 Supercars Championship carried much anticipation. And as always, it exceeded all expectations. There was carnage, controversy, and a new Clipsal 500 champion was crowned. Today on V8Xtra, we look back at another unbelievable weekend on the streets of Adelaide. Scott Mclaughlin let us tag along for what was to become an historic day for Volvo and Gary Rogers Motorsport. Larkham talks aerodynamics, and Neil has a chat with the quiet achiever of the family, Kiwi Fabian Coulthard. All that today on V8Xtra.
Hi everybody, thanks for joining us again on V8Xtra, and today we put a full stop on the 16th running of the Clipsal 500. What an extraordinary event again. It had everything, a huge 4-day race meeting, some great motor racing, intense rivalry and raw emotion.
The stage is set for what is sure to be another classic Clipsal 500. Big crowd building, perfect conditions.
Away for 2014.
And the battle is back on, especially at the front. The two Red Bull Racing Australia teammates looking for the advantage at turn 1, and Lowndes will sneak ahead. Already push and shove with Chaz Mostert. Smoke coming out of the back of car 6.
But he's into the wall, Mostert, so he's on his own oil and found the wall.
They've only got 2 tyres waiting for Craig Lowndes. Problem on the right.
That's hurt.
So there goes Whincup.
Jamie made a heap of ground in that stint on everybody.
And it looks as though he's on the way again. The winning ways continue for Jamie Whincup.
So what an interesting battle to the first corner. Scott Mclaughlin, front row of the grid, on debut for Volvo. 5 manufacturers in the top 7.
In many ways, it's the great unknown. Off they go into the twilight at the Clipsal 500. A terrific start from Craig Lowndes.
But there it is, the diagonal run to the inside. He can't stop it. Jamie Whincup, a crisscrosses on. Mclaughlin goes toe-to-toe with him. Jamie's got the inside running now for 11. And holds on. Great exchange, boys.
And look at this crunch for James Courtney.
The yellow flag has come out and it's a safety car on course. This is going to benefit Lowndes having this stop under this condition.
2 tyres in good shape this late in the race. I reckon this is going to put him in really good shape.
So the order changes. The safety car out there. An extraordinary drive from this 20-year-old holding off 5-time series champ who's at the peak of his powers.
He's right on the rear bumper of the Volvo. Nothing in him. Move it over, Scotty. But if anything, Mclaughlin can hold his ground there, and Whincup is at the absolute edge of the braking performance. He goes wide. No. He's trying to get underneath him. When they get to 10, the crowd reacts. This is fantastic. Whincup up the inside. Mclaughlin gives him some space. They rub, but the Red Bull Racing man has got through. The champion's done the job. Dive down the inside, down the inside. So close. What a battle.
Unbelievable. Craig Lowndes wins. It's back. And Scott Mclaughlin puts one on the champ. And Volvo into second on debut. Third and final race of the Clipsal 500 of 2014. It's already been an extraordinary weekend. And that's a great start from Jamie Whincup.
He's in.
Whoa, he's gone into the wall. Straight into the wall, and huge damage at turn 8 for Will Davison.
Oh, he got a little bump. There was a touch as well.
And look at them all sprint out. They go in search of their own piece of real estate. They bump and grind and push and shove. And now they've got to come all back together again for turn 1. Jason Bright over and up and into the wall. Oh! Huge damage to car 16 of Scott Pye again. And Chaz Mostert. And damage to Lee Holdsworth.
So Tander's got damage in the front right-hand corner there.
And it doesn't take much for Garth Tander just to lean on the front left-hand side of Jason Bright.
They're going to have a big nightmare trying to resolve getting this car back in shape. Their car controller's touching the car. The car controller's not allowed to touch the car. Pit lane, drive-through penalty, car 1.
with filthy at Red Bull Racing Australia. That will mean that James Courtney will take the lead of the race. Back down here at turn 9, Jamie Whincup trying to salvage his day, and he makes contact with Michael Caruso. Whincup into the side of Caruso. The Norton's gone, and so too is Whincup.
In the wall for Percat. Percat has gone into the wall front left. He's made a critical mistake, unfortunately, under pressure, and he's off down the escape road at 9. What a shame. Out of third position.
The Clipsal 500 crown is at stake right here. What does he do this time around? He's just got to get through cleanly, but Jack Perkins, so there's traffic on the clips the wall. The last time we saw him in 2013, he was all busted up at Phillip Island. He comes back with effectively a brand new car, and the rivalry between the Holden Racing team and Red Bull Racing Australia, it's on. Courtney gets the win. Here we go. He's got the guns out, and Frank the Tank is back in business.
So after a wild weekend, 3 great races with 35 to go, let's have a look at the points table. Craig Lowndes leads the championship, plus 52 points. Not a bad weekend for CL, a win and a couple of second placings. Fabian Coulthard, you can see there in second place. Smart play. Didn't have the quickest car, but 2 fifth placings and a 4th means he's got very good points on the board. Shane Van Gisbergen, last year's champion, in position 3. Jamie Whincup off to a perfect start Saturday. Tough day, though, for the champion on Sunday. It was also a tough day on Sunday for Scotty Mclaughlin. But what about that amazing Saturday? And the good news for us, our cameras were with him. We'll have that story after the break on V8Xtra.
Can I please get a radio check on this channel? Yeah, mate, I've got you loud and clear.
I've got to set this lap. This thing's not good. This thing's not good.
Chaz, copy that. She's dead.
Adelaide just isn't our friend, unfortunately.
Was there a car upside down? Yes, there is a car upside down. You're kidding me? You're kidding me? What an absolute idiot. Just ruined our race. Take it off on the wall, mate. Take it off on the wall. Scrape the wall. Merge behind front of Whincup. You should get him. Don't let that bugger through. Woo! Thank you, lad. Oh, getting all emotional.
The airwaves were running hot all weekend at the Clipsal 500. Welcome back to V8Xtra. Well, it was a fairy tale arrival back into the series for Volvo. And what about the drive and the performance from 20-year-old Scotty Mclaughlin? Our cameras tagged him all day Saturday last weekend. Here's our story from inside the bunker.
Hi guys, Scott Mclaughlin here at the Clipsal 500. Saturday morning, chilly morning. Historic day for Volvo, our first race day. Massive day for us yesterday on the front row of the grid. Got a few things to do before then, so let's get it on.
Yeah, sensational for my boys. It was quite emotional yesterday for everyone, and
Aboard my brand new blue Volvo, I like to call it Bluey. So Clipsal 500, awesome track. One track that I really enjoy, and you really got to put it all on the line. Yeah, that's right.
It's exactly where it was yesterday. Maybe a little bit more though. Maybe just a little bit more. Snappy. Hey guys, massive day of corporate stuff and drivers briefing and whatnot. But massive day for Volvo as well. We're here. I'm nervous as hell. I don't know why, but I'm looking forward to hopefully driving Volvo into the history books. Maybe not today, but maybe one day soon. Cheers.
Scotty Mclaughlin in the front row in the Volvo has clear line of sight. Scotty, a new toy, front row of the grid. You are living the dream.
Yeah, it's amazing and so happy for all these guys. So whatever happens, whatever happens, happens. I'm going to go out there and just, you know, give my all, put the jandle down, have a bit of fun.
In many ways, it's the great unknown. Off they go into the twilight at the Clipsal 500.
But the Red Bull Racing man has got through. The champion's done the job. Dive down the inside, down the inside. So close. What a battle.
Unbelievable. Craig wins. It's back. And Scott Mclaughlin puts one on the champ. And Volvo into second on debut.
Scotty, that was incredible. That is going to be one of the great moments of the year, and you've nailed it again. Well done.
Holy cow. Thank you. Holy cow. Nah, seriously, my boys, man, I can't thank them enough. It was amazing. It was pretty good racing, and I don't know what happened on there. I just plucked her in first, gave some jandle. Yeah, sorry.
We understand there's a level of excitement.
Sorry to all the little kids out there. I swore on live TV I'll never ever do that again. But seriously, one of the coolest things I've ever done, and the battle with Jamie was sensational. But we had a good hard racing, and you know, I really enjoyed it. And yeah, it's bucket list stuff, I guess. What an incredible day for Volvo, Polestar, Valvoline, myself, and all the boys. It's something I'll never forget. The crowd was amazing. To get P2 here at Clipsal 500 and get a trophy next to my name is awesome.
Well done, Scotty McLaughlin, and everybody at Volvo Polestar Racing. Gary Rogers was absolutely ecstatic on Saturday night. Another team that really performed very well last weekend were Nissan. They've made some improvements over the summer. After the break on V8Xtra, Larkham explains why. Add together some city streets, big curbs, some concrete walls, plus 25 V8 supercars, and the visual effects are stunning. Fortunately, Jason Bright walked away from that one unharmed. Well, as I said before the break, Nissan really stepped up over the summer. They went back to the aerodynamic drawing board, and they certainly found some performance. Larko explains how they did it.
Quite a bit of conjecture in the off-season about the new Nissan aerodynamic package. So I think it's important we understand what's been going on and what it means. First of all, every aerodynamic package and device on all the cars in pit lane is homologated. By that I mean each manufacturer has to present their package. Once that's approved by the organisers, all the cars or all the respective manufacturers have to run exactly the same package. Now, the way they do that is they run the cars at an aero field at 200 kilometres an hour, and they get the downforce figures. Now, in the case of pretty well all the cars, they're now locked in at around 150 kilos at the front and about 220 kilos of downforce at the rear at 200 kilometres an hour. Now, that's great, they've achieved that. But the other important one is drag. Now, the drag is, I guess, equivalent to towing a parachute out the back of the car. What's that measurement? Now, that's influenced largely by the frontal area of the car. So when you look exactly at the front view of a car, watch that cross-section. That's called frontal area, and that influences it. Now, when you've got so many different manufacturers as we now have, very hard to get all those frontal areas the same. So what they do is change these aero devices so everyone has the same amount of drag, which is about 135 kilos of drag at 200 kilometres an hour. Now, you remember Nissan were quite quick. Winton was a good example where they won at the slower circuits because under 200 kilometres an hour, their drag was the same as everyone. They've claimed, and rightly so, and testing has proven, that they had an increased amount of drag beyond 200 kilometres an hour. So Bathurst, for a typical example, hurt them quite badly. So what they've allowed them to do is go and change the cars, and I want to go and show you on one of the cars exactly what they've done to achieve that. Okay, so very specifically, this is Michael Caruso's Nissan Altima, and you can see on the front here what they've done around this front homologated aero kit, as I mentioned before, is they've smoothed out this shoulder here to let the air flow a little cleaner around there. And here, this little spigot here, this little piece that divots in, that's now narrowed down to create a little less drag there. So that's one area at the front of the car that's going to work for them. If you come to the back of the car, the rear wing. Now, I want you to remember all these rear wing profiles across all the cars, or the rear wing core as we call it, is the same. But on this car now, they've allowed them, via these new brackets on here, the new mounts, to bring that further back and further up into the airstream. So what that effectively means, for the same amount of downforce, remember we talked about that 220, they can actually now run this wing a little flatter into the airstream, which means less drag for the same amount of downforce. So coupled to that with a couple of things at the front of the car, it's the right thing to do. And as I said, because this is now the same as across the whole field, don't let anyone tell you that these guys have an advantage. They don't. It simply means now they're the same as everyone else. Well done.
That run on Sunday for Rick Kelly certainly demonstrated some speed. Good to see those guys have made some gains. Another quick break now on V8Xtra. When we come back, we'll wrap up. Plus, sit down and have a chat to Fabian Coulthard, who's second in the series after the first 3 races. Stay with us. This is V8Xtra. Our next big event, we're off to the Apple Isle, the Tyre Power Tasmania 400, which last year was a breakthrough event for Fabian Coulthard, where he got his first V8 supercar win. And last weekend at the Clipsal 500, we both had a rare chance to sit down, have a coffee and have a chat and find out about Fabian and his career. It's not often we get the chance to talk to the drivers helmet off, so today we've got the opportunity to catch up with Fabian Coulthard, who last year became a first-time winner in the V8 Supercar Championship. And Fabian, it's easy to think that you're an overnight sensation, but it was 8 years in the V8 Supercar making to have that pivotal moment in Tassie last year where you're a winner. That was pretty special.
Yeah, it was, and you know, not only for me to win 2 races, but for Bridie to win the other one and come away with a BJR weekend was pretty special. And the wins that I had to fight for both of them against 2 good blokes, Jamie and Mark Winterbottom. So I wasn't gifted them, so it was a pretty nice feeling.
Let's just go back a step. We know what you're doing now, Lockwood Racing, and we see you at the competitive end of the field. But how did you arrive at that point?
Basically started off at Morris's. Russell took my ride, went to PCR for a couple of years. Fortunate enough to go to Walkinshaw Racing. Probably went there when they were at the lowest of lows, so that was a little bit unfortunate timing. And then to Brad Jones Racing. So, look, I found a home. They're a great bunch of people, and, Brad and Kim, the people that run the organisation do a fantastic job. And took a little bit longer than I expected to get that first race win. Got a podium in 2009, and I thought, oh, well, maybe it's a little bit closer than, another 3 years down the track. But, that's life. But won a few races now, so we're ticking boxes.
For a long time, sadly, you were known as the bloke that had the monumental in the chase.
Yeah, look, it looked very spectacular. If you want to crash, that's the way to do it. Obviously big, lots of flair, but obviously when a crash is a bad one, it's normally the sudden de-acceleration, when the car hits the wall from a fast rate to pretty much stationary. So thankfully, it looked spectacular, but it wasn't all that bad on the inside.
Let's get out of the car for a moment and talk about other things. I know that you just had a break over summer, and unlike most guys who lay on the beach and copped a few rays, you went to the Northern Hemisphere and did some snowboarding. Tell us about it.
Yeah, look, it was good. I got a phone call from Brad, a couple of days before I was going. Fabian, don't break any bones. I was like, okay. Obviously, when you're being stupid, and I don't take any big risks. Just go for a bit of fun, and it was a pleasure to be there.
One of the things that was impressive last year, and it set up what became a tremendous championship season for you, was the way in which you qualified. And you mastered that last year as the 3rd highest average in the field of 28 drivers.
Yeah, it was good. To qualify up the front is, I've always said it's the easiest time to pass cars because it's so competitive, this championship. You're only within tenths of a second, and to pass the car in front, you need more than a tenth of a second to be faster. But we've got a little bit of a weakness. We could qualify well, but then in the one lap, top 10 shootouts. You know, we couldn't generate the tyre grip well enough, so that's an area of improvement that we need to work on as a group, but we'll get there.
You've made a bad choice of boss, can I put it that way? It's your one weakness. Why would you want to work for Brad Jones?
Look, you know, 2012, you know, Brad offered me the drive when I was left with nothing at Walkinshaw Racing, so I was happy to go anywhere. Obviously, there was a strong connection through JR. For him to take me on like he did, I felt like I owed him something. You know, last year we had some great results and, you know, we worked well as a group, and I'm enjoying it, you know, to go racing. All my group of guys on my cars, I've got, you know, 2 Kiwi mechanics. I've got Phil Key, Paul Scalzo. We've been together for, this will be our 3rd year, and, you know, racing's pretty much a bit of fun.
Enjoy the coffee, good to catch up.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
That's it. Time's up. We're done for another episode of V8Xtra. I hope you've enjoyed our program and our Clipsal wrap. Our next big V8 supercar event, we're off to the Apple Isle to Tasmania for the Tyre Power Tasmania 400 Symmons Plains Raceway. It's the weekend of March 28 through 30. So on behalf of everybody at V8 Supercars and 7 Motorsport, hope you've enjoyed our program. Look forward to your company when we next go racing in Launceston. Bye for now.